Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Subplot. Joining me today is actually kind of a diverse cast of characters. We have Major Key 600, Kieran Jones. Hello, Kieran.
Hello.
We have Deadpoolzilla returning to the show for the first time in a very long time. Hello, Deadpoolzilla.
Hello, I am here.
And here yet again is Rasco Jackson, aka Rasco's Modern Life.
What up, players?
Players and haters and everybody. And I am your good host, Sid Part 2, and let me tell you, dear listener, that you can download episodes of Geeky Gentlemen and listen on the go. The download link is in the description. You can download new episodes, because they're posted along with the episodes on YouTube, and you can leave comments on old episodes that you would like to download, and I will upload them for you and let you know they are up. That being said...
Wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. What are we reviewing today? Anybody?
Reviewing fucking Cujo!
The hype is real.
That's how you have to say the title of this film.
Jesus, that enthusiasm, man.
Yeah. So, let's do a quick round robin. Who had actually seen this movie before this review? Because I obviously had.
I might have when I was an infant. But I
watched it. I watched it last week for the 50th time.
Kieran, you?
I saw it, give me a second, 20 minutes ago.
So this was the very first time for you.
We are so prepared for this film.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because Stephen King movie adaptations have a very... spotty track records. Some of them are brilliant, and those are usually the ones that...
Like Cell?
No. Those are usually the ones that, deviate from the source material, and then some of them are awful. And those are usually the ones... What?
I said the Langoliers.
Yeah. And those are usually the ones that stick dead center to the source material. Stephen King is kind of a controversial figure in literary circles because he puts out a lot of stuff, and it's hard to call it all just pop trash because there is some really, really brilliant things in there. But then there are other things that are just fucking awful.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. What's the one? Maximum Overdrive?
That one was meant to be bad. He was making fun of himself, I think.
Yeah, duh, Ian.
Okay, what's the one with the Nazi kid? Because they made that into a movie with fucking Ian McKellen, too. Shit, what's the name of that? God, that's gonna drive me crazy. Anyway, it's a spotty track record. And Cujo's, I think... at least in my opinion, one of the few that isn't in the solid good block. Does anyone care to disagree with that?
No, I'd agree with that. I mean, out of all of the Stephen King movies that I really enjoy, I'd have to say I've really got only 3 that I really, really like. And I don't hate all of them, like a lot of the adaptations. But if I was to give it, pick 3, it'd be Cujo, The Mist, and Christine.
Really? Shining doesn't make that. That's fascinating.
Well, Shining, I think it's a little overhyped, but I don't hate it.
I agree with you. Christine is fucking amazing.
Cool. Kieran, how you feel? Did you enjoy this being your first time watching it?
Before I go into that, my experience of Stephen King is very minimal in the fact that I've seen very little of the films and even less of the actual books. Most of the horribly bad ones, my knowledge extends from only watching one of the horribly bad ones, being The Langoliers, then being turned off to watching any of his shit ever until today. Thank you, Ian, for that.
You're welcome.
And the rest was knowledge from Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic reviewing. That was literally about it. But Cujo was okay. It was it existed.
Yeah.
I think one of the big reasons why I really like this movie is because I love Saint Bernards.
It's funny because that's they're huge dogs, admittedly, but they're like big softies, and then to see one just become a monster is really fascinating.
I love dogs.
Yeah. Raska, did you like Kujo? Were you in...
Yeah, I like this movie. It's good.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like this one because it's one of his more subdued, fairly realistic ones. There's some stuff, I read some, some stuff that contrasted this movie with the book, because I was curious, but there's some stuff in the book that was more his typical people with psychic powers kind of things, and his own little Stephen King universe that he has going on that connected it all.
Not to mention, he for some reason has it out for Maine.
Yeah. I mean, Maine deserves it. Have you seen their governor? Anyway, so he's got a lot of little things in the book that are supernatural, but it doesn't really affect the main story at all. And so I think that the movie was pretty smart to just drop that stuff and tell a very, very realistic story. And I think that's what makes this such a damn good horror movie. Is it's such a it's the perfect scenario for everything to go wrong. But it's such a believable scenario that you have no trouble putting yourself into the shoes of these characters. Because it's just what the fuck do you... This is something Bear Grylls would be in the shitstorm with, right? And that's what I really like about this. It is a just very realistic horror scenario.
It's kind of it's like a more subdued Jaws in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I kind of like the fact of, like you said before, the lack of unexplained psychic child powers. Because I saw the kid at the beginning, I was like, please don't predict everything that's going to happen in the movie, and he doesn't. And I like that. It's one of the most realistic children in a Stephen King film, which is enjoyable to have. And like you said before, I do like the scenario not being supernatural. It's just a doggone fucking rabbit, though. We'll get into this later, I'm sure, but the dog feels a bit way too intelligent for his own good at times.
Well, they do actually establish. I'd agree if not for the fact that they set it up.
They said he's a smart dog, but when you're rabid, you
kind of the breed, though, Kieran. The Saint Bernards are generally intelligent dogs. I mean, I will say that. Some of the things he's that's pushing it for dog intelligence, but for the most part, they are bred to be. Their breed is generally really smart.
And
what does he do when he's mad? That's really intelligent, sleep under the car.
No, not that necessarily that, but there's two things that I think. One's really smart, and then they immediately backtrack on that by making him somewhat dumb in that regard. Is that early on, more or less midway early on, he attacks the car when the phone goes off. Now, that's a trigger, and you could go into different ways why he does that, but the main reason that I got out of that is that he knows that whenever the phone goes off, someone is calling, which means eventually, the more times it goes off, people will catch on that,
No, that's not it at all.
What's the actual reason, then? Why does he click?
He is getting pissed off by noise.
Yeah.
Just by actual, sheer noise.
Yeah, because they set that up pretty early on. You see he's hiding under the house when he's early stages of infection. And the steps, the father,
the bandsaw
working on the cars. Yeah, the father working on the cars sends him under the house. Then the steps annoys him when he's under the house.
And the clanking of the pans and shit when they're in the kitchen eating, when they're smoking cigars and stuff.
He's he's becoming aggravated by sound, and so he's just blaming the mother and child for the sound at that point.
Now that you bring that, that's a good one, because I now look at the scene when the abusive dad's talking to not the main dad, the actual owner of the dog, is talking to his drunk pal. I think it's Gary or something like that. And then just the noise and the clanging, the throwing the cat, he's cut into the dog. That's actually pretty clever. I like that. The second one, I feel like it's a bit of a contradiction. Now, someone can tell me, because I'm not a glass connoisseur, but when the phone goes off the first time and he gets pissed, he wrecks the window to try and get to it, right? Like, smashes the damn thing down. Now, granted, well, we do know he does smash the windows of the car and whatnot. Why doesn't he just go straight up to it and smash it in pieces? Like, he headbutts it once, makes a crack, and then why doesn't he not continue doing that?
Maybe because metal hurts, Kieran.
No, not metal, the glass itself, the glass of the car. Because he smashes through.
There's nothing at head level.
But he gets up to it and headbutts.
He'd have to get a jump in.
True.
I mean, I guess
at that point it is too much thought.
I guess. I feel like he headbutted it the first time, and then he went up the top of the car and then started scratching. That's a very animal thing, like something doesn't try a second time. But I feel like it's like, you could have just gone down again. But writing. Continue.
Rasco, you were about to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know, like, he's just, like, in the mindless rage, so I don't know if he's, like, really, like, thinking, like, logically, like, what's the best strategy to get into this car? I think he's just kind of, like, mindlessly attacking it whenever he can.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that we see him do that is, smart, and maybe a little too convenient is when the cop pulls up and he runs away and, like, hides until the cop's out of his car. I do think that is at the point where he's not mad enough.
It's a weird mix, because they set up, obviously, he's rabid and he has this mindless rage, which fits for the animal kind of, thing that they're going for. But it's a weird mix of intelligence and also a weird mad rage, because, and you could say that's good writing, because as you said before, the breed of the dog's clever. I wouldn't know about that myself, so we'll take that into account. But it's a weird mix, because you have the moments where they set him up just until a shot that he has got at least this decent level of intelligence, because he is stalking that car, and obviously that just his near presence. Now, this is a point to the film. I don't think the idea, like a rabid dog, if you put me in front of a rabid dog like that, I'm going to shit myself. But I don't feel that's the most intimidating thing in film. But when he's actually not going insane, because it's standard, you expect that. But when he's just stalking the car, or she's looking out the window, and you just see this decently lovable dog covered in blood staring at them and knowing what it can do, that is actually legitimately intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's stalking, you know it's waiting for that opportunity, and you feel like you get this matter of intelligence. And then when, as you said before, when the cop pops up and it does that, and it's like, okay, this thing is clever, but at the same time, just the rabid mad rage. You can't get a full grasp of how intelligent the animal is. Like, where does the line go from just simple animal intelligence to predator kind of levels of, I want to kill these people for a predatory kind of reason? That's what it feels like to me.
It would have helped if we'd gotten a scene with Cujo, and they could have done it maybe more with the whole beginning with the rabbit, which I do love that opening scene. It's very, very understated and really clever, but they could have done more with the rabbit to show that he's a clever dog in how he was chasing it.
You could show like a predator going for its prey, like he had maybe this thing before, but of course then the infection makes it more of an outward thing.
Yeah, like, it just would have helped if the rabbit, like, thought it got away and then Cujo came out of nowhere at it or something.
Yeah, like he got into a sense of maybe possible false security.
Yeah, just something to show you that it's got, like, a, hunter mind kind of thing.
Yeah, cause
I think that would have helped to set up earlier on, even though I do love that opening scene as is.
Because then when the bat bites him on the nose and then he suddenly does all these clever moves in order to get their prey, you're suddenly like, where the hell did this come from?
Yeah, and I mean, it's certainly possible that he was capable of that beforehand, but, like, especially because they have the scene where the rabbit goes through the log to get across the river, and Cujo sticks his head in the log looking for it, and it just would have made more sense if he just immediately crawled over the log to get to try to catch the rabbit on the other side, because that would have shown you his intelligence as opposed to just being told about it.
Yeah, or even, like, maybe in some sense this could be seen as a stretch, but even, like, a scene where you could set the intimidation levels and set the predator thing where I think of, like, what tigers and whatnot do, where they at least just kind of crouch the body slightly down to the ground, and then maybe he not necessarily pounce, but then he gets close to the thing, sees it, and he runs after it, just so you know he's thinking about it. He's trying to make sure he's not heard instead of just running, and then seeing it.
Mm-hmm. That could have helped. Rasco, Deadpoolzilla, any input on all this? You guys are quiet.
Oh, I'll just say that I think this is the film that really started the whole myth of bats carry rabies thing, which it's actually quite the misconception. Bats actually carry a low number of rabies. They're the animal with the least amount of rabies exposure.
I doubt this was the thing that started it, just because if it was, why would they have chosen bats to begin with?
Yeah.
Well, you know that lady got freaking rabies at the end of the movie after she got chomped on the leg.
There are rabies shots, and they suck, man. You want to know something fucked up? You want to, like, have a fucked up thought?
What?
Batman and all the Bat family constantly have to be getting rabies shots. Like, poor fucking Alfred has to get, like, 5-foot-long needles shoved into his abdomen every couple weeks because he has to hang out and fucking butler a goddamn cave.
That's another thing I never got about the Bat Cave. Bat shit all the time. How does Alfred clean all the bat shit off the Bat computers?
Yes, he does. Bruce Wayne is a seriously disturbed individual.
Why do you think Alfred is, like, revered so much? It's because of how much shit, not quite literally, but sometimes in the case, how much shit he has to put up with this crap.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have any thoughts on the whole bat thing. Rasco, anything on the levels of Cujo's intelligence before and after the rabies?
I think he became self-aware like Skynet when the bat bit him.
Gotcha. And he's like, I've been treated as a pet all these years.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Planet of the Apes. Like, it could have been like Rise of the St. Bernards.
So what you're saying is Cujo should be called Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, it's been a long time since I'd seen this movie, and I forgot quite a bit, and also importantly, I'd seen it when I was quite a bit younger, and I'm kind of... I go back and I look at some of the stuff that I remember that I watched or that I listened to or whatever when I was younger, and I go, God damn, young Ian had really good taste, but he was also a fucking idiot because he didn't understand any of it because none of this stuck with me. And so I watched this movie again, I'm like, holy shit, there's all this stuff about an affair that totally went over my goddamn head as a child.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's easily forgettable.
Well, it's in the book. It's a little more explained and a lot more weirder. Like, I don't know if I should tell you I don't know if you guys have read the book.
No.
No, none of us have.
There's some... I don't know what it is about Stephen King and sex, but dude, there's a weird-ass scene where where the woman's lover comes into her bedroom and soils the sheets.
Yes!
And he leaves a note telling him, hey bitch, I came all over your sheets.
That's
I'm like, that is the weird... Keep in mind, I read this in junior high.
Well, I like that. That's good.
Yeah. I don't know, that kind of... I imagine that fits in when the guy broke into the house and, like, tore up the bed and stuff.
Yeah, that's the same scene.
Gotcha. Okay.
Obvious reason they cut it out of this film.
Yeah. I don't know, I don't know how to feel about the whole way they set up the affair and everything.
I think it works.
Okay. Then tell us why it works, Rasco.
I think it works, okay?
Hi, Matrix.
What?
Sounds like the Matrix. It works.
Oh.
So continue. I broke it.
Okay. I don't know. I just thought that I kind of like how this is very, very Stephen King-y, because like this is a thing about his work, and that his characters are always like incredibly fleshed out people, I think, and like their personal lives, and I really liked how you have the woman cheating on the guy, and the guy is kind of like caught up in his work, but at the same time he's a really good dad, and hasn't cheated on his wife in any way. And then, like, I don't know. And then I love that scene where he's driving by and he, like, thinks that he sees her, so he turns around and he goes and he checks it out, but she's gone. And then he gets...
That's a weird scene. I want to talk about that scene some more.
Oh, I like that scene. And then, I don't know, like, I just thought that relationship was, like, interesting and really fucked up because of her. And then I like how that just, like, randomly, out of left field, becomes intertwined with, like, a fucking dog attack. And, like, that's the second half of this movie. I just think that's awesome.
See, I think it works because it just sets up, like I said at the beginning, it's the perfect scenario because you have to do all these things to make sure she is isolated.
Yeah.
This is a movie that can't be remade because fucking cell phones are a thing.
Oh no, our cell phones run out of battery.
Yeah, you just have to write that.
Or we're in a bad area.
Yeah, no reception. We're in a dead zone.
Yeah, you like at that point it just becomes too perfect, right?
Fuck you, Sprint.
Yeah, Cujo 2. Fuck Sprint.
Cujo 2, sponsored by Verizon.
Sponsored by Verizon. Fuck you, Sprint.
Yeah, like it is a perfect scenario because you have to set up all these perfect things. Like the one mom has to quote unquote win the lottery, and I think that is bullshit. I think that she's actually running out on the husband. The one mom has to win the lottery. The two the father and the neighbor have to be killed off early on. The car has to be breaking down. Both cars of the family have to have broken down within a couple weeks of each other. The wife has to have an affair. The husband has to be called out of town on business. There's all these little things about it that are like,
They do have to fall into place way too easily.
Yeah, everything has to be perfect, but no one thing is unimaginable, is my thing. Not one single event in this is too unbelievable, and it's not unbelievable for any of these things to be going on at the same time. It's a little unbelievable for all of them to be going on at the same time, but it's fiction.
I was going to say it's weird because, like, it's again like in the weird mix of Kujo's intelligence, where sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. It does win the blend that the plot setup wants to take. The plot setup is very convenient, but at the same time, the scenario itself is one of
is perfectly imaginable.
It's perfectly imaginable. You can totally see this happening in one of those scenarios. Maybe again not as perfectly. But at the same time, it's that weird mix of 50-50 there.
Well, that's what I really like about it, too, is that, like, you know, whenever you hear about a story in the news about, like, some fucking crazy shit that happened like this, it's always so, like, randomly specific. And I bet you, like, if you looked into, like, the actual stories of the people who have lived through, like, crazy events involving, like, animal attacks and shit like that, like, I bet you they had, like, incredibly interesting days that could make for good stories. And... like, I like how, that's why I like the weird, like, relationship drama in the beginning, because it's just so randomly specific, and, like, for these people, like, that's just the context of what the people have been going through prior to being attacked by this dog. I just like that.
So what you're saying is, Rasco, is that Cujo is nothing more than a When Animals Attack special.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and no, I quite like some of the relationship drama, too, because it's not overdone. It's not like you have the one guy who's, you know, the cheater, the guy cheating with her. You know, he's kind of, like, he's an asshole, he seems a bit off, but not unimaginably so. Like, his whole getting creepy and breaking into the house, that's something I could see someone getting drunk doing after being in an affair and just being dumped like that. And so, like, everything about it just feels very natural, if maybe a little convenient, and that's what I like about it. The one scene I do want to talk about, because I just don't think it goes anywhere, or maybe not, I don't know, maybe you guys can convince me, is when she goes to tell him that it's over, and then goes to her car, and then he, like, rushes out and grabs her, and meanwhile the husband turns around.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're gone by the time he turns around.
Yeah.
Where did they go? What happened?
She got in her car and she fucking drove out of there. What do you mean?
Then where did he go?
He went back in his motherfucking house!
Then what happened between the two?
Yeah, like, that's just so quick for both of those things to completely, like,
No,
settle.
see, that's, I don't agree. See, he saw them, like, struggling at the door of her car, okay? He drives down the road a little bit, then has to wait for a gap so he can do a fucking U-turn, which could take a dick year, and then, because fucking U-turns take forever, and then he fucking takes a U-turn after waiting, and then he gets honked at, and he has to speed his ass up and get back on the fucking road, and then he drives back, and they're gone. There was enough time for them to get the fuck out of there. I'll defend it.
Yeah, but, like, I would agree. There would be enough time for them to get the fuck out of there if they knew that he was there.
As if they knew he was watching, which it was like a blink in a second thing. Like, for him, it was a blink in a second.
Yeah, so, like, if they knew he was watching, there would be enough time. But they're obviously in the middle of something, and I don't believe that they could resolve that and then go their separate ways that quickly.
Unless it was
especially since he starts showing back up.
As I say, unless quite literally, like, he grabs her arm, she goes, bitch no, slaps him, gets in the car, drives off. But
I just think that one times out way too quick for... that one I feel is a bit manipulative to the point where I feel it's like...
I think that's just movie convenience, Ian, when it comes down to it.
Well, no, what I'm just saying is I feel like it's just a cheap, like, moment of suspense. You know, I don't feel like it really goes anywhere. I don't feel like it adds anything. I think you can edit that out. I think you can edit her saying it's over, goodbye, and him saying okay, and then as soon as she walks out the door, you cut it before he gets up and puts on his pants and all that stuff. And then you let the rising tension of their uneasiness just be the scene with the milk and everything inside their own home.
I disagree.
You could have had it more low-key. Like, one thing that I thought was like, okay, why? Is she comes in, she says it's over. I'm like, oh, okay. We assume they had an affair. Obviously, the way the talk was like, would have actually liked to maybe seen caught in the act maybe a bit better. But
no, they show that that they were in fact sleeping together.
Yeah, because but she kind of just walks in and it's like, oh, she's coming to see someone, and then they start talking. It's like, oh, they've been doing it. Okay, that's nice. But my proper problem with the scene in particular is she says it's over. He says okay. Then she walks off. And then obviously you can tell he's displeased with it. He can tell he's displeased with it. Though it takes him a good... While she leaves, she gives a good physics, goes, hold on a second, I'm angry about this. Takes his pants off, runs off again. So it's like, it would have been a lot... Considering how subtle they want to kind of take this, it would have been better, like, and considering how he kind of flips on her when he comes into the house and then, you know, wants to do it, despite the fact that the kid and the dad's only outside and could walk him on any second, and almost does. It would be nice if you see, like, a progression to how he comes to that, even if it's off screen. Like, maybe when she leaves him, he then like, clenches the bed sheet. He maybe then puts his pants on and then goes for a drink to drown his sorrows.
Or if he just, like, once she closed the door, if he just picked something up and threw it across the room.
Then you can tell clearly he's not happy about this. So then when the next scene comes in, we can transition to, okay, he's got from this to this.
Yeah, but the problem with doing that is you lose the suspense moment with the husband turning around. And so, Rasco, I agree, it's a cool, suspenseful scene. I just don't feel that it serves the story enough, and I think it becomes a distraction.
Well, I just think you're a hater, bro.
A well-reasoned, intelligent argument, Rasco.
Yeah, that's what I
Is there any
provide.
actual defending the scene, do you think?
I don't know. You can hate on it. I don't know. I think it works. I think it's just the right amount of, like, movie bullshit timing that I'd buy it. You know, movie bullshit timing's been around for a while, and we accept it. There's other scenes of movie bullshit timing in this as well.
No, I agree. The scene of movie bullshit timing centric to the affair that I do like and that we were talking about is the way in which, you know, he wants to sleep with her right there in the house and starts, you know, forcing himself on her and only stops when she breaks something, pushing him away. I really like that scene more for the moment with the husband right before it ends as she's cleaning up the milk and they both know that they both know what's gone on, and he just really simply goes, Just tell me yes or no. And she looks at him, and you can tell she's like, she knows she's fucking busted. And, like, her voice cracks, like, I love the way the actress delivers it. Her voice even cracks a little as she says it. Yes.
That was a good scene.
That was such a good scene.
Real quick, because I forget, is this the same actress who was in The Howling?
I have no idea. Dee Williams, I think, is her name.
I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
I'll look it up. You guys talk about that scene while I look it up.
You just commanded us to do something.
Do it, motherfuckers!
No freedom!
Oh, good lord.
Mm-hmm.
Right, since we kind of dusted the crap out of that scene, is there any particular scenes that you like, dislike, that pop out of your head? So go speak.
Yes, she was in The Howling, and E.T.
Can I just talk about how fucking gross Cujo looked for a second, though? Like, Cujo looked fucking nasty. Whoever did, like, the makeup for that dog deserves an Oscar for makeup, because it was fucking good.
For dog makeup.
Dog makeup. Cujo gets an Oscar for supporting actor.
I really like the...
Air Bud does. He was nominated, too.
I really liked the makeup for it, and I've always liked. Did they just throw dirt and mud all over this dog before every take, or what?
I don't know. He was nasty, and he had like green sludge all over his fucking face. It was gross.
Yeah, like that snot or whatever is coming out of his eyes. It looks fucking disgusting, and almost to the point where it's implausible, but I just don't care. The way they make him look rabid, the foam that's coming out of his mouth and that he like leaves on the car window. Oh, that's one thing I love about how dirty he looks.
And it's a great...
Because it just makes the car look so much worse every time he gets on it.
Yeah. What I like about it is like it's a full physical representation of what the rabies is really just doing to him.
Yeah, because he looks so sweet and cute, and, like, you just want to hug him when he's, like, not rabified, and then he gets rabies, and it's just like, fuck.
Ew!
On the other hand, I still want to hug the dog because I love the St. Bernards.
Even ones with rabies?
So. Even when he has rabies, especially then, Deadpoolzilla wants to hug the dog.
That's gross.
It will be his hellhound.
I want to see, like, a movie. This is a random thought. I'm just throwing out here, dog-related, though. I want to see a movie that's like a Pixar movie where it's a whole world of dogs, and it's like a Rocky Balboa Pixar movie where it's like a boxing-type story where, you know, it's got, like, the fighting, like, the training montage scene, you know, the ending fight, and you got the Italian lead boxer who's played by an actual boxer, like, dog. And, like, all the dogs are, like it's a whole
Beverly
world of
Hills Chihuahua 4.
No.
Written by Rasco Jackson.
No.
That's how you're going to start your film.
Sylvester Stallone is boxer.
No, Rasker. So would the dog be a boxer?
Yeah,
like it acts the breed?
Yeah, the dog is a boxer, but in the universe of this dog world, he's also
wait.
He actually boxes. He's like a professional.
Let me press the pause button on this. So you want to make a children's movie about dog fights?
Yes, that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny, because it's dog fight. He's a dog fighter. He's like a dog fighter in this dog utopia world.
Wait. Movie
hang on.
The legal sport.
So would Michael Vick be the villain?
No, there's no people. It's like Zootopia, where it's like a whole society, a whole like world of animals, but it doesn't have any other animals besides dog breed. So it's just like a bunch of fucking dogs, and he's a professional boxer. Like he's like, and he actually boxes.
No, this is so stupid.
But he's also a boxer. No, it's a Pixar movie waiting to happen, and you structure it like an inspirational like boxing movie, like Southpaw or fucking Rocky.
I think you're
That's
just trying to
Creed.
make people
You structure
feel
it like that with the montage and everything. It'd be awesome.
I think you're just trying to make people feel sympathetic towards dog fighters.
Yeah, I don't care. It's funny. It's awesome. It's cool, and it needs to be made. It'd be great.
For the record, I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Anyway, let's talk about the movie. Yeah, I love the way
that was a
Cujo
great pitch.
looks.
That was a movie we were talking about. What? Sorry.
Yeah.
I think
I love the way
our
Cujo
bit.
looks,
I think
though.
we just found our bit, by the way.
Yeah, that is.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
I just love the way Cujo looks, though. I'm trying so hard to get us back on track. I love the way Cujo looks because it is this like you guys were saying, this perfect representation of his decline, and it does the same thing to the how dirty he looks is really reflected by how dirty the mother and son start to look through this, because they just she gets the shit eaten out of her.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're both in that fucking car. Could you imagine being in a goddamn car all locked up in the middle of summer for 3 days?
With a kid.
That would suck.
Christ, dude, that is it gets so unbearably hot. Even with the fucking windows cracked, that shit gets fucking crazy in the summer. So yeah, just every single thing about that situation looks just unbearable.
It's just one big scene of suck.
Pretty much. Let me ask this then, because I think most of us here liked, at least to some degree, the whole relationship drama thing. Do you think it's well balanced between all that, or would you have preferred more time spent in the car in the film runtime?
Neither. I would actually like more time spent with Kujo himself before he goes insane.
Okay.
I think it was fine as it was. I think it was a nice little balance there, and I mean, you can only stay so long in that car. But on the other hand, you'd have to say that, you could say the same about Open Water and The Shallows, where it's...
Well, fuck Open Water.
But hang on. No. I'm trying to make a point here. You can do a whole movie centered around one scene or one area. So on the other hand, you could have done that. You could have cut out all the drama parts with just adding the drama between the mother and son facing Cujo, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want that because, seriously, in all seriousness, fuck Open Water.
Yeah. I just don't
Are you
care
open water hater, bro?
Because it's an hour and a half of open water.
That's why it's great, dude. You just don't understand, bro.
You know what that movie should have been called? White People at Sea.
Treading Water.
Yeah.
That would have been
I
the
don't know,
best title, Treading Water, because it just keeps treading the same water that we've already treaded before. And it's just treading and treading for however long.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have liked just a little more time, maybe. Not long, maybe just another 5 to 10 minutes of car time as opposed to relationship time. But that is pretty minimal. Rasco, which...
I liked it as it was.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of with Kieran, though. Honestly,
Shut
thinking
up.
about
I'm just
it,
kidding.
I would have preferred more time just with Cujo as a dog, to more develop him beforehand.
Yeah, the complex, dog personality, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, you could make that. I feel like
The
they
one-dimensional dog personality.
Ironically, you could make the dog not really more than one-dimensional, but you could make it a little more complex than what it was. Because we were talking earlier about the appearance and how kind of, it's kind of how rabies were that quick. I don't know, but in the same thing, just each shot, every time it would cut to, because it had the sequence of it would cut to the car, it would cut to Cujo waiting, then maybe it would cut to a time when Cujo would attack briefly, then cuts to how the dad is, how the cop is, how all these different characters are. Then we keep cutting back. And each time it cuts back, it cuts to a different state. So you see the mother and the son get a bit more dirty, they get a bit more sweaty, they get warm. But one thing I love is every time we see Cujo, and every time there's a way where we cut from Cujo and we cut back, he's just a little bit more dirty. He's a little bit more dirty. Maybe he has more gunk around the eye. He just looks, the bloods look dried up on his mane. Oh, looks really good. And he just looks more dirty. And you can see that as we were saying before, like an actual narrative sense serves his kind of deteriorating mental state, and now it's kind of reflecting physically. And if we had more time with Cujo beforehand and how he was such a lovely, nice dog and established that, we could see that just, okay, he's a fucking monster, but you could see that this could be hurting him too. Not like, oh no, please stop me from what I'm doing, but physically, this could be hurting him because, I mean, look at him. He's fucked up.
Well, yeah, that's what rabies does. It literally destroys you from the inside out, starting with your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadpoolzilla, you're the one that's read the book, but correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't the book give Cujo a little bit more personality, like we actually get inside his head in the book?
It didn't go inside his head per se, but it does give a little more scenes with Cujo, and it kind of delves into a little more of his sickness and its growing. But you got to remember, I haven't read this book in a long time, so I could be wrong.
Well, I was just like looking at excerpts and stuff, and there was like one where it was talking about, and he did feel stupid. He did feel that he was a bad dog for doing something so stupid, and now being bloodied, and now his boy and his woman and his man were going to be mad at him for what he did. So, like, I read stuff that there were, like, little bits and pieces where we were getting more, you know, it's not, maybe not the right term in his head, but getting more from his perspective.
It's basically, it's Anakin Skywalker in the way of the dark side, dog version.
Yeah, sure. No, so I did quite like what we do get with Kujo, because I don't know how you communicate that in a film and still have me take it as seriously and realistically as we do.
I was about to say, you could do that, but I feel like, obviously we're not going to have a narrator doing that, because then that would feel like it's spoon-feeding a lot of things to you, and again, you wouldn't take it as well as everything else. But with a lot, I think the answer's pretty simple. You look at it, and from this perspective how this film's going, because a lot of it is very physical storytelling in a lot of senses. Very little dialogue in terms of Cujo, obviously, and a lot of it's physical, so like how his, you could say his mental state is reflected by physical state, and the whole, how he's saying how his owners would be kind of mad at him for the things that he's doing and whatnot. It all takes place in the, well, even though it's outside, but it's outside the house of where he lives, correct? So that's his owner's house. You could have times, because he does go inside the house briefly, he doesn't just keep circling that house for God, no, that car for God.
He goes under the steps. I think the only time he goes inside is to attack the phone.
Oh, okay. You could have maybe a time where he's attacking the phone, and because there's a windowsill there, he could maybe look at a picture, just look at it. You couldn't even maybe get a whimper. If you want to go that far, you could give him a whimper. He just looks at it, and then carries on. And then he just then goes around to be quiet by himself and just sits down, because obviously the car's not moving, he hasn't got a chance yet. But just that look, and then goes off it, the phone stops ringing, and then sits down, just kind of slumps down, just sleeps for a bit.
Or if we got something like, maybe, you know, we saw the boy playing fetch with him.
Yeah, again,
and then, like, he looked at the ball that they played with or something like that.
Yeah, that would work in tandem with, like, scenes beforehand where we get to see more of him being a good dog. Maybe he's still playing, but he's just not, obviously, throwing the ball to himself, but maybe he's just with his paw while he's waiting for them. Like, his eyes are physically looking at them, and maybe he's, you know, because he growls at them, like, a few times where you see his teeth and whatnot. He's doing that, but you can see his hands just kind of messing with the ball, rolling it back and forth maybe a little bit. So you can see, like, the juxtaposition there.
Yeah, something like that. Or, yeah, I agree. More stuff just with Cujo on his own probably would have made this work just a little bit better, but I still think it stands pretty damn strongly on its own. Okay, I only had one other thing I wanted to make sure I brought up, then we can get to any other thoughts you guys had, because I'm the most important part of the show. Wow. The other thing that I had a pretty good sense of, because I kind of know King as an author, particularly from this era when he was an alcoholic, or when he was dealing with alcoholism more directly in his life, is he can be a bit of a cynical son of a bitch. And so I looked up the way the book ends. Kid dies. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I forgot that happened. Shit.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Should it have ended that way, or do you like the happy
die?
What?
Did you say the kid dies?
Yeah, the kid died in the book.
Yeah, how?
Same way he almost died here.
Oh, he just
got so dehydrated that his body shut down.
Yeah, okay. So
I guess because child deaths in movies at that time, I don't
wish
think
he
it
had
would
gotten mauled. I'm sorry.
You wish he got mauled in the book.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm looking ahead at AMC, and yeah, Cujo's on in this Stephen King marathon.
Oh, fun. No, but like, I don't know what. Do you want me to describe? Like, I can't really describe a death that I haven't read on my own.
It's fine. You don't have to go any further in depth.
Yeah.
He just dies of dehydration. I think we can get the picture.
Yeah, like, so what do you think? Should it have ended that way, or do you like the way the movie ends?
Maybe. I don't know. I would kind of dig it if it happened that way.
I would.
You know what? Yeah. No. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yes. He should die.
I feel like Cujo triggers something within Rasco psychologically.
He should fucking die because she needs to learn. Like, he left because he needed time away from her because she cheated on him. She goes out there, they get trapped in the car, and her son fucking dies, and she gets to live knowing that if she hadn't fucking cheated.
And just to rub it in the mother's face, Cujo comes up and boxes the kid to death.
Yeah. Kujo just eats the kid's head.
With the voice of the cowardly line. Put him up. Put him up.
Okay, are there any serious answers?
I'm serious!
I'm gonna say it would have. I think what which one of you guys said that that moment of it would have driven home for her that that it would have, like, if you didn't cheat, your kid would still be alive.
That was Rasco.
Rasco. I think you made a good point of if she hadn't cheated, her kid would still be alive, and if the kid, assuming the kid did die like in the book. Like, shit, I totally forgot that happened in the book. This shows how long I haven't read this thing.
Yeah. So you're useless is what it also shows. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're a fake. You're not a legit expert. You're a fake. You're not the real Santa.
You're a phony.
He's not Santa.
Jesus.
Way to wake up your wife, Ian.
She's in the other room. It's it's Beyonce. Thank you.
Well, same difference.
Not really.
There's a difference, but yeah, sure. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because again, I've not long just watched this film, and I don't have an entire sequence planned out in my head. You say if because the mother cheated, the kid dies and that kind of thing. You taking the cheating out of it, wouldn't they be in the same situation? Just with, a broken car? Wouldn't they still need to go get it fixed? I mean, it's not like she went to...
Yeah, because the husband would have still been out of town.
Yeah, so the cheating doesn't really... The kid still died. Not because it's like, it's not saying, yeah, the cheating does this. It's not even like the lover's dog, or they went to go see the lover because he's some mechanic. No, it's a completely different family.
Oh...
I tend to agree with you on that point. Then
right. I don't
that's
like
not like a symbolic sense of, oh look, you cheated, you sinned. No,
right. Shut up. You're right. Get out of town. You're right. I hate you for that, but you're right. Fuck you.
It's okay. That's most people's reaction to me.
I'm gonna strangle you. I'm just kidding. What do we have to discuss now, Ian? Continue.
Well, no, I was just curious, because I think, I'm a real cynical son of a bitch, and maybe this is just more my thing with horror, because, this is going to be a weird point to make, but happy endings dominate film, and I'm so fucking sick of it.
I like sad endings, too. I concur. But
yeah, it's like every movie has a happy ending, it seems, and I just like something that doesn't, and if you're going to do it, if you're going to do a sad ending in a movie, horror's the place to go. It's supposed to be horrifying. You shouldn't always get a happy ending in horror movies.
You're right, but the thing is, a lot of horror movies, they do the shitty, stupid, like, gotcha ending, and it's so irritating. So it really, when they craft, like, a really awesome ending, it's totally, like, I can dig it. And I want it. If it's sad, it's cool. But oftentimes they do the stupid, like, Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Oh God, Freddy's still alive! Ha ha! Gotcha.
Or just Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
Ian, you must have loved the ending to The Mist then.
I haven't seen The Mist.
Oh, well.
No, it's just like, there's so many movies that end that way. Like, every movie has a happy ending, characters get exactly what they want. So few movies have the balls to do a sad ending. And if you're gonna do it, though, horror movie's the place to go. And so, this already had a sad ending. And King was in his cynical alcoholism phase during this time in his life when he wrote this sad ending. And I would have liked to see the sad ending translated, because I find sad endings to be more... I'm not going to say more compelling or more true to life than happy endings, because that's ridiculous.
Have you seen Requiem for a Dream, Ian?
No.
You would love that movie.
I'm not going to say that I find sad endings or depressing things to be more true to life, but I find a lack of a more balanced ratio between sad endings and happy endings to be untrue to life.
It's an emotional conclusion that we explore less in storytelling.
Yeah.
I think after everything, you want to walk out of there going, oh, man, that was... Thank God everything ended well for those people, but I can see where you're coming from. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, ha, you assholes got what you wanted, or deserved, whatever.
Yeah. And, like, don't get me wrong, the kid, for a child actor, does a pretty damn good job. There's only a couple points where I don't think his delivery worked really well. But goddamn, those couple times when the dog is attacking, I don't think they told that kid what was going to happen.
I believe that.
I seriously do not.
That paints a wonderful image in my head. That really does.
Well, like, that's the kind of the thing that you're, like, there's this old story that gets passed around on sets and stuff that, on film sets, like, this child actor was there, and the parents were there, and, like, both parents showed up on set every day, and they told the director, hey, if you need him to cry, we can do this thing, just let us know. And the director lets him know, and so the mom doesn't show up on set that day. And they're getting ready to film a scene where they need the kid to cry, and they go, right before the scene starts, like, okay, we're going to do this scene real quick. Oh, by the way, your mom died in a car accident on the way to set, but we still got to finish this scene. And then the kid just starts fucking bawling. It's a really generic story that, like, you know, it's probably not even real, but there's, like, a hint of, like, the world's that fucked up in it. And so, like, I would not be surprised at all if they just shot the stuff with the dog and didn't tell the kid it was about to happen.
Yeah.
I would not be shocked in the slightest.
I would actually believe that, because there is, like, a look of just sheer terror on this kid's face when the dog first attacks.
Yeah. I also really like the one shot where she's passing out after getting bit, and she really does think she's about to die, about to, like, bleed out and die, because she's trying to give him this advice as she's going. And then the camera, like, at first it's slowly rotating between the two of them, and then the kid just starts, like, crying, and it rotates faster and faster and faster. Oh my god, I fucking love that shot. It's so sad and creepy, and that's where the movie should have ended. Mom dies, kid's left alone in the car to die, dog doesn't get any comeuppance or anything. No?
Yes!
No, I'm the one.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know, I really, really like that shot. That was so fucking cool. It's too bad the film quality kind of gives out as they do that, though. I don't know if I'm the only one that experienced that, but, like, as that shot starts rotating faster and faster, there's, like, a lot of static on screen.
I couldn't remember.
You were having hallucinations, which is
No,
a word. I just made that word.
I gotta stop watching movies pre-1990 on my 4K television. That's all it comes down to. I just can't. Like, unless it's a Kubrick, I just can't watch a pre-1990 movie on my television. They all kind of have that graininess to them, and that high resolution is just making them look like shit.
Oh.
And that's unfortunate.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. This looked pretty good for the most part. It was just a couple scenes where it was like looked really staticky for me.
There was a couple of scenes, and there were some shots that I felt like aesthetically I liked it. Like you said before, it's everything's simple. Like the location's really simple, and everything's simple because it's obviously supposed to give you this feel of this situation where you think of this could happen. But I like the sets. I like everything the way it looks. It gives this kind of countryish feel, and I do like that. Some of the shots I think are really good, especially towards the end, as you mentioned. There's some shots at the beginning I feel like sometimes it's a bit too dynamic considering what's actually going on. Like, I can't remember the exact scene. Actually, yes, I can. It's when the mother comes back after that bizarre scene of the lover running towards him and he thinks they're there. And then then she picks up the kid, comes home, takes the groceries out of the shopping, and he says, "So what did you do today?" Obviously, kind of hinting that he thinks something's obviously going on. And she goes, "Oh, the usual." Then she walks off upwards to the house, and then it just kind of like this camera, like, round shot of just his face, like, dun-dun, like he thinks something's going on. I think if it was just kept that same shot and just went, and then maybe walked off, or then just cut. Not that just panning of then, oh, look his face, he's disappointed.
It is a bit soap opera-y.
Yeah, I just felt like I can cue the soap opera music.
I don't like the soundtrack for this.
No, with the exception of one track, and again, Cynical hours ago, so I don't even know the name of it, but when the dog attacks, at least the first couple of times he attacks, I think it was either the first time or the second time. I can't tell if it's actually a different track or it's the same one. But one of those times, the first time, the second time, I liked how scratchy the track was and how just everywhere it was, because that's kind of the emotions of the scene. Everything's kind of everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's weird because I could see Hitchcock doing this if he were a later filmmaker, but the score is way too. Yeah, well, yeah. Good point. The score is way too Hitchcockian. It's got that very orchestral, very classic Hollywood kind of building, and you can hear the strings and the horns and everything. And it needs something a lot dirtier, and this might sound weird, I would have liked something with a much more rural country kind of feel to it.
At least in the beginning.
Not necessarily, just something with a little bit of twang. I think just a little, like a hint of twang every so often would have really helped, and do like, kind of the Philip Glass.
Breaking Bad theme song.
Yeah. No, I think like we did like a kind of a country version of a Philip Glass thing, where it's a very simple one or two instruments.
Actually, what would have been the perfect theme song for Cujo?
What's that?
Boonville Stomp by Primus.
I don't know what that is.
It's
bongos.
Awesome.
How about bongos?
How about bongos?
Just...
I don't know, like, I think you could rescore this movie, because I did find the score distracting at one point. Like, Haley was home by the end of it, and there's that scene at the end where the dad goes running to the mother and child and everything, and it's like the music swells, and she goes, "Oh, it's such romantic music," and I'm like, I know exactly why you feel that way, but that's the exact same song that's been running through this entire movie, and I don't like it.
Yes, it's a decent point to bring up, actually.
It is a very, very tonally juxtaposed song, and I don't like it.
Since you bring it up a few times, it's now just kind of made me think, I would love, again, the being alive part kind of sucks, but I'd love to see Hitchcock do this, actually. Fuck Stephen King, I'd love to see Hitchcock do this kind of idea.
Well, it is, like, borderline Hitchcockian, though he would never do something this directly gruesome.
No, he would play with the dog's psyche so much. And that was so cool.
Yeah, Hitchcock would never go this gruesome, but that's just because that was his era, right? Like, the most gruesome thing I think Hitchcock ever made was The Birds, and, like, there's, 2 times when someone bleeds in that movie?
Like 2, 3.
So it's just, like, he would never go that gruesome, but that's because he was such an early filmmaker. He never could have gotten away with it.
And at the same
So-
time, sometimes it's what you don't see that really impacts you.
Yeah, but I think what works about this is just how fucking brutal that dog... Like, when she gets bit by that dog, you feel... Oh my god, that's hard to look at.
You do feel.
Yeah.
That one really does churn my stomach, looking at her get bit in the leg by that dog. Just,
But
God.
the rest of them are kind of shot really close where you can't really see too much of how he's mutilating them, but that one in particular, you do kind of think, ooh.
They spent their budget on that one, is what it came down to. They spent their makeup, like, prosthetic, whatever budget on that shot.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be curious to see how some of the stuff looked in this. How some of the effects stuff was done in this. One shot that I don't like is when she is hitting the dog with the baseball bat. I don't like that it's from the dog's perspective.
Why
Yeah.
not?
I don't know, it just looks kind of awkward. Did you like it?
I feel bad for the cameraman getting pummeled.
That was fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're
I don't know,
What
I
do you
just-
want her to do? Beat a real dog to death? This isn't.
It was
fucking Apocalypse
83.
Now.
PETA
They
wasn't
chop a
around yet.
goddamn cow's head off. This is Cujo. We're not gonna beat a dog with a bat.
I don't know, it was 83, it was before PETA. Just before, but still before PETA, I think. Maybe. I'm kind of making that up off the top of my head, because, I don't know. Don't take my word for that one. But, like, I don't know, I feel like you could have gotten away with actually hurting an animal in this period of filmmaking.
Are you kidding me? You really are serious? You want him to beat a dog with a fucking baseball bat? You ass.
No, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying you probably could have gotten away with doing that.
No, Ian, no.
I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying that,
Maybe
like,
you could. I don't
in this
like
era
circus
of
animals.
film...
They beat the shit out of fucking circus animals.
Yeah, I'm saying in this era of filmmaking, it's something they probably could have gotten away with. Not that I want them to do that. But I mean, come on, we've all seen fucking Sandlot.
I see you.
And they show that dog, they show a prosthetic dog doing a bunch of shit in that. and it looks
Prosthetic.
fucking
Prosthetic.
I know, but once again, you're taking me out of context. I'm not saying that I want them to actually beat the dog.
Want him to blow up
I'm
a real
saying-
great white shark for Jaws? Is that what you're saying, Ian? Want him to
What?
blow up a fucking real shark?
Shut up, Rasco.
Yes, you just said that. That's what you're.
In Ian's wonderful defense,
Slandering you. I'm sorry.
in Ian's wonderful defense, I actually, you can kill me all you want. I wouldn't mind if she at least hit the dog with the baseball bat. Mostly because when you make something, especially since, as we were going in before, we're trying to make him like, not even sympathetic. Well, it's a tiny bit more sympathetic with the scenes beforehand. But since they didn't do that, and the things you do, and in the context of this film, would you feel any remorse for that dog? I mean, it looks cute, but the things you know it's done. Would you feel any remorse if you see that thing got hit with a baseball bat? No, you would not, because this thing's a monster.
Yes, I would, because I know it's not a real vicious dog, and I know that it beat a fucking dog with a bat for my enjoyment, which is horrible.
The point of the movie is illusion.
Literally sadistic.
The point of the movie is illusion. It wants you to believe this thing's killed.
It's not illusion if they're really beating it to death. It's just
Yeah, I get you. Once again, I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm saying in this era of Hollywood, it would not have been illegal to do. But I'm just saying, yes, you could have found a way to show it happening. Either by shooting it in a very particular way, by training the dog to, like, look this way at just the right time like you would with any other false hit in film, or doing it with the prosthetic dog. Because they obviously have, prosthetic dog parts for other shots in the movie, so it seems like there's got to be some way that they could have done it without the first-person perspective.
So what you're saying is you'd want to see him beat a fake dog. If you said that...
Yes!
There! Why didn't you say that before, asshole?
Because I fucking said no, I don't want them to actually beat the dog. I said that like 17 times, you dick face.
Ian beats his own dog!
I don't have a dog, dipshit.
Confirmed!
He beats his lizard.
Yeah, he's a lizard beater.
I've got another reason
I
for why
prefer to think that there's a one-eyed snake, gentlemen, but you know. Anyway.
Oh, good lord.
God, you say it's like this. You just get off on. I fucking ring your bell and you just get off on this thing. You know, no, you said this, you said this, you said this.
I told you before, Cujo, it psychologically does something to Rasco. I don't know what it's done. I don't know where it's touched him, but it's touched him in places.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else one of you wanted to bring up with this? Because I'm all out of the things I wanted to make sure I talked about.
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
You got the rage out, Rasco? There's nothing else to go on about?
No, I've ranted enough.
Not about your wonderful pitch to Pixar? No.
Well, they'll pick it up. They'll see it. Hey, contact me, Pixar. I'm serious.
Okay.
Slip money under the table. It's all good.
Well,
I want credit from one of you.
I want credit. I want a bowl full of green M&Ms. God help you if I find a brown one in there. And I swear to God, I need my own trailer. It's got to be a double-wide trailer, and it better have a espresso machine in it.
Yeah, I need a stunt double.
This feels like...
For your CGI movie.
I need a stunt double to take the wide shots when I want to get blazed in my Winnie.
I also require a Kate Beckinsale poster. No questions asked.
This feels like the contract Mickey Mouse has with Disney.
Oh man.
No, he's tugging the monkey to Daisy Duck. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Roscoe's imagining it. Oh wow.
This took a very odd turn.
Ian, this took a very odd turn when we talked about Pixar boxing dogs. Boys.
No, it took an odd turn when you said, "Hey, wouldn't it be?" Never mind.
Once again, I didn't say...
We here at Geeky Gentlemen do not condone the act of animal abuse.
Exactly, thank you. I can't believe I have to put a fucking disclaimer when I'm having a conversation with people.
Wait, this all started back when Ian said that he wanted to beat an animal.
Yep, that's what I said.
Disclaimer, sure. I'm here to interrupt this wonderful episode of Geeky Gentlemen to let you know that we here at the Geeky Gentlemen Productions do not condone the act of animal abuse.
I think this whole anti-animal tirade started when his lizard shit in the cage and made him clean it.
Plot twist, Roscoe works with Peter.
No.
He has infiltrated Geeky Gentlemen.
No.
Yeah, probably.
No!
Okay, let's go ahead and go on to ratings. Yes. Rasco, you go first. You seem excited.
I feel like I've given this rating to like the past 3 things that I've rated on Geeky Gentlemen, but I'm gonna give it. I think I have. I don't know. Maybe I haven't. But I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. Bat bites.
That was creative. Anyway, moving on.
Alright.
Deadpoolzilla?
I am going to give this 3.5. Ian doesn't want... Ian is an animal ass-kicking asshole.
Yeah!
3.5, not dogs hurt, out of 5.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Ass. Kieran?
I'm going to give this a 2.5 disclaimers. We here at Geeky Gentlemen would like to remind you once again that we do not condone the act of animal abuse.
Thank you, Kieran.
Welcome.
I'm just saying, it's supposed to be a noun related to the movie. That is not, but I'm gonna let it be anyway. Okay. I'm surprised yours is so low, Deadpoolzilla. I didn't hear you say, almost anything negative about this movie.
Yeah, the reason why it's low is because I've seen this movie so many times, and I think the main thing that hurts it for me is sometimes the romance kind of drags a bit, and there are some scenes that just feel like, man, I wish this hurried up. But
gotcha.
Really, I think with a 5 scale, 3.5 is actually pretty average.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go for a 4 as well, Rasco. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 telephone rings of doom. Very, very suspenseful telephone rings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so before we go on to what we're going to talk about next week, because, Rasco, you got to think of something.
Oh, shit!
Just throw that one on you.
I got an idea. I know.
Oh my god, no! I got an idea!
Jesus, calm down.
Okay, well, hold on to it. I'm going to tell the story that I almost forgot to tell. I would have felt bad if I forgot to tell this. So the last time I watched this movie, I think, I was hanging out with my friend Andrew, who lived, and I want to make this very clear, literally next door. And when I say next door, I don't mean across the street or down the street.
2 doors down.
I mean, literally, our yards were touching each other. And we were the closest next-door neighbors you could possibly be. So Andrew and I watched this, and Andrew is a little girl when it comes to horror movies. He could not watch horror movies on his own, and it's hilarious because it's like, in everything else, he pretends to be like this big, tough, scary, intimidating black guy. But when it comes to horror movies, he's like, fuck no, I can't watch this shit.
Oh my god, Ian, you made him watch your parents' sex tape.
Yeah. So we watch Cujo, and we finish Cujo, and it's like, maybe 10 at night, it's dark, whatever. And he goes, Ian, you need to walk me home. I'm like, Andrew, you live across the yard.
Oh my god.
Ian, you need to walk me home. I'm like, alright, fine, fuck it, whatever, I'll walk you home. And he goes, okay, just 1 second, I gotta go find something. And I'm like, what do you need to find? He walks into this, our supply room at my mom's house, and he starts looking around, and he goes, okay, here we go. And he comes out and he's holding a fucking hammer. So he makes me walk him across the yard while he's holding a hammer because he watched fucking Cujo. And I really like that story. Oh.
Yeah. I'll admit, that happened to me one time because I had to hang out with a friend of mine who lives across the street from me. But that was only after first time watching The Strangers.
Oh, that's a fucked up movie.
Yeah.
See,
It's one of it's become my favorite, oddly enough.
I have a tiny little story about God knows how long ago it's been since I've seen this film. Oh, yeah, 2 hours. But, funny little story about it. Beforehand, Ian messaged me saying, are you up for doing Cujo? And I responded with Cujo, question mark, because I'd never heard of it, surprisingly. Not a Stephen King person. And then he proceeds to explain, but I was praying that he did a typo and meant to say Kubo, as in Kubo and the 2 strings, and I got really excited, and then he said, it's a Stephen King thing, oh, okay.
I'm dropping this bomb here, but I didn't really like Kubo and the 2 strings.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Throw it out there! Suck on my dick! I'm throwing it out there. I didn't like Kubo. Fuck Kubo!
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, seriously.
Resto
is no longer a member of Geeky Gentlemen.
Hashtag fuck Kubo, guys. Get it trending. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just didn't really like Kubo. I'm sorry.
Doors there. Get out.
Oh, okay. Rasco, now that I hate you, what are we talking about next week?
Next week we're talking about... I don't know if you guys have talked about this movie. If you have, I'll think of another one really quick. But Tremors.
No, we've never talked about Tremors.
We're doing fucking Tremors.
Well, you're welcome to come, Deadpoolzilla.
I want in. I love fucking Tremors. I was going to suggest Freddy vs. Jason, but fuck that, Tremors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Freddy vs. Jason, that one, I would love to talk about that one at some point as well. I love Freddy. Well, I love to shit on it and talk about it and really.
Oh no, it is in no way a good film. I love it of how goddamn stupid it is.
Yeah.
Is it better or worse than Batman vs Superman?
It's better in the sense if you're drunk and you know it's because the thing is, I think everyone in this film knows it's a bad film. It's kind of like a modern day Frankenstein meets the Wolfman.
It's funny,
which is what it was meant to be.
Its director fundamentally misunderstands Freddy and Jason, and it's so funny to watch the special features for that film and just understand, oh, this director is so unaware of how wrong his interpretations are. Like, he doesn't understand how not suited for this he is. It's really funny.
Okay.
It's great.
That movie is, I like it because of, like I said, it's just so unbelievably bad it's good.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've reviewed Freddy vs. Jason...
shut up.
Okay, everyone, thank you very much for watching this episode of Geeky Gentlemen, whatever the fuck it was. Kieran, once again, do your little disclaimer thing, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we here at Geeky Gentlemen do not condone the act of animal abuse. If you do, that's great, but, we're not you. So have Roscoe...
You're kind of ruining
Except for Ian.
the disclaimer notion. You sound like you're supporting it now.
Except for Ian. We here at Geeky Gentlemen do not support animal abuse, except for Ian.
Except for Ian. However, because I just got told this and completed a 180 in my disclaimer because Roscoe just paid me 10 under the table.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, Rasco hates Kubo.
So, we here do not condone the animal abuse. You should never do it at all, whatsoever. Terrible, awful. We here at Geeky Gentlemen support the law.
Yeah. Alright, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I am the walrus!
I am the creator.
And I'm the Wandering Samurai.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.
Ah!